俺はルフィ、海賊王になる男だ。
Is a great day here at Kekfilet's YouTube channel. I'm your host, the Kekfilet, and today I'm bringing you another video on WoW Classics Season of Discovery, kind of going over future content. And I do want to say thank you all so much for your support in the last video. You know, that was my third video. This is my fourth video going on, and it did get quite a bit of views. It's almost at 1,000 views, and that's actually a pretty big deal for me, right? So I appreciate you guys, and I do want to ask you guys, thank you so much for all the likes and the subscriptions, but if you can, leave me a like, leave me a sub. I just want to say, if you do that, it's like a little hit of dopamine for me. It's like, feels so good when that goes through, and it does help with this algorithm, which I'm trying to kind of figure out as I'm kind of doing this. I have other YouTube channels, but making Warcraft content daily is kind of what I'm wanting to do right now because it's fun, right? So with this video, I'm going to be talking actually quite a bit about some future content, what we're going to look forward to in the season 2 of Season of Discovery. I do want to say, spoilers beware. I don't know everything, but from what I've heard, obviously if we conclude anything, we assume something might be spoiled. So we have to think of options as we go through, and I like to be extra prepared due to these spoilers and because it makes sense financially. So I'm going to go over that. I'm going to go over an instance in the background here that's probably going to be super farmed in the next phase. And then potential things that may or may not happen, and I kind of hope they do happen and make it a little more interesting, but some people may find it kind of lame because the next phase after that. And then I'm also going to go over a couple more items you guys should be looking into for the next phase to maybe invest in now or invest in later, so you can do whatever you want to do in the next phase. So without further ado, let's get into the goop. My first thought here is that in phase 2, we're set to have Gnomergon. With Gnomergon coming out and that being the big impact, I know there's another thing is what's the phase after that? Phase 3, when we go to level 50. And it's already been talked about doing Scallop Monastery. I think that was already spoiled by Blizzard, so it's not even like a discussion anymore. But it's a Scallop Monastery type of raid. So if we're getting a Scallop Monastery raid at level 50, are they going to allow us to have that up to level 40? Because we can't get into Gnomergon right now, right? So wouldn't it be the same thing if we can't get into Scallop Monastery? Maybe they just have another tier in Scallop Monastery. Scallop Monastery is a big dungeon with 4 instances. And honestly, most people are expecting to level there from like level 30 to level 40, just straight dungeon grinding Scallop Monastery, and that's pretty stressful when it comes to everyone's plans because they want to make sure they're able to get in there and do that 5-man all day long. And unfortunately, I have a weird prediction that what if Scallop Monastery isn't going to be accessible in phase 2? I know people can access it right now. There are already a ton of bots in Scallop Monastery. But right now, what if they don't allow that for phase 2? Now we have to level without that. We can't get the gear from there. And there is really good pieces from there. I think it's going to be extremely spammed going forward for dungeon pieces going forward. But it's also going to create, you know, some frustration in getting there. And on top of that, I think it maybe it's too easy of access, but I think there'd be too many frustrations if they wouldn't allow you to do that. More people have said that'd be pretty negative. It's kind of nostalgic, but this is Season of Discovery. It's all different, right? So that's essentially the first thought I had. What if Scallop Monastery isn't the place? And regardless if it's going to be the place or not, I have an idea. Well, this is also going to be a place to farm at level 40, and that's Uldaman. And to be honest, I don't have a lot of experience in Uldaman. I don't even know if I've actually fully cleared Uldaman ever in my WoW career legitimately, and people were doing that a lot in hardcore actually, so I'm sure it was explored more in hardcore. But I did want to go over some of the loot in Uldaman, because this is going to be an extremely farmed place for gold for BOEs. I do want to say you do not have to full clear Uldaman. The last 3 bosses, they drop items that are level 42. You don't really care about those items, and the bosses are really hard to kill. And so we want level 40 and below items. So Aranaya drops level 37 items. Anything above that, like there's like a random Cragfist that drops these plate hands. It's kind of poopy, right? But Aranaya drops some male wrists that, you know, have like attack power. That's a random enchantment. You might see people just straight up farming that for gear if they're wearing mail or plate, and it can have even 22 attack power on that. And then, you know, some interesting things like the Horned Viking helmet, which is pretty amazing for PvP, and as well just a few other items. But the trash from this instance is insane. On the left side here, these are like level 30 to 40 things going on, and they're okay pieces. Honestly, it's nothing too crazy. I wouldn't see anything of these, you know, getting back. Oh my god, this cloak's amazing. Oh my god, this cloak's ridiculous. Okay, maybe that cloak's actually gross, but there are some things. There's even like a random BOE bracer that can drop based off of these things, right? But the biggest thing are these weapons, and there are all sorts of weapons that are really funky here, but the biggest few here are going to be these one-handed swords down here, and also this two-handed axe, the obsidian cleaver, and the pendulum of doom, the level 39 4.0 attack speed at 38.9 damage. There is also the jackhammer, which is a lot faster and has an awesome proc. Obviously, this seems like, you know, not bad, but the slow speed on the Pendulum of Doom, that does a whole lot for both warriors, ret paladins, etc. And this might honestly be one of those like insane items that people get in order to do things, and it's going to be an expensive item. This is probably going to be the most expensive item on the auction house going into that phase, so you might see people actually farming trash all day long to get this kind of item. So I did want to, guys, give you a heads up on that. Maybe practice a little bit of Uldaman, understanding what to do in Uldaman, and how far do you really have to go in order to beat this dungeon going forward. But especially to farm the Pendulum of Doom might be really worth it to kill these trogs. I know they're a little bit higher level. I might do another video soon more about that, but essentially that was my thought process, is getting ready for Uldaman on top of that for the next phase. And to go into this too, I'm actually going to jump now into another part of the video, is what items am I thinking about for the next phase or right now. And really, this is just kind of ways to make some gold. And number one, we'll have accessibility to Lesser Invisibility Potion. I know it's not that popular, but I gotta say, Lesser Invisibility Potion is so powerful in the early levels, or at any level, to get through things we normally can't get through, skipping bosses, doing quests we shouldn't be able to do. And on top of that, PvP awesomeness. There's a lot of ganking going on. This actually might come in real handy when, you know, going somewhere and getting lesser invisibility for 15 seconds. And it's going to cost a Fade Leaf and a Wild Steel Bloom. I will say, right now, there is ways to get Wild Steel Bloom. It's really hard to get. This is already expensive. This is probably going to go up in price. And the main thing is that Fade Leaf is only accessible to Taurens. And so I'm wondering if Taurens are already farming this, if this is already getting cheaper on the Horde auction house. It might be a really good pickup because it's not used for anything right now, but it's going to be extremely farmed in the next set and used in a lot of things. So Fade Leaf and Wild Steel Bloom, Lesser Visibility Potions, this might be really good for, you know, those speed runs or doing things like that. But Lesser Visibility Potion will come up. I know that there's a big kickback that it makes all your potion cooldowns at 10 minutes, or maybe specifically the Lesser Invisibility one. So keep an eye on that. But obviously, you know, going invisible for 15 seconds is pretty invaluable. You might be able to like sneak up on somebody and just one-shot them. Honestly, it's a very good way to go about playing the game sometimes when playing like a stealth mage. So and then on top of that, I think a really good thing you guys should try to jump into right now is free action potions. I will say probably more Horde than Alliance, but both. It's insane the skill from this. I think this is just kind of just broken. Everyone knows that free action potion is a broken thing that you can use all the time, and immune to stun and movement of parrying effects for 30 seconds. Obviously, it can be impactful for a lot of PvE scenarios, but PvP, this is extremely broken. And honestly, these are like liquid gold. People just buy these. It takes a lot to make these, and it's a good thing to get into, and you can make lots of silver and lots of gold that they add up real quick, by the way, and it's just completely liquid gold, I call it, that sells. And definitely take a look at the time of day. I would say maybe in another video, let me know in the comments if you'd like to know kind of like a good estimate of like what time of day, what day of the week, what trends going on. Maybe it's seasonal depending on, you know, holidays, but there is a right answer for what time of the day you should be looking to buy and that you should be looking to sell on the auction house. Maybe you guys in the comments that know more than me can educate us and educate me more about it so we can talk about that, because I think there is a better time to buy and a better time to sell, and I'm not sure exactly what those times are. It kind of varies, and it's very scary when you have a lot of gold put into consumables and you don't know when the best time to do things are. But I think that's essentially what I want to talk about today. I do want to say thank you all so much for watching these videos, checking me out. I've been playing on Living Flame NA on both my mage and my druid, and it's been a whole lot of fun. I'll be doing a little bit more content. I have a lot of pre-quests done, and what I'm going to be doing soon with that, on those pre-quests, I'll be going through where to turn everything in and how long that will take for you guys. But yeah, make sure you guys leave any, you know, suggestions in the comments, and make sure you guys like the video if you're liking, subscribe if you want to see more, hit that bell so you get notified right away, and I'm going to see you all in the next video. Ciao.